I'm talking about the greatest. Hold up. Never with that fakish. Roll up. Realest of the real when he was young. Muhammad Ali was still the same when he growed up. Louisville strong, well, we all knew he the chosen one. He knocked out List and he shocked the world and left it frozen, huh? Exposing the hatred America had for us. Ain't no justice, it was just as 1974, rumble in the jungle. The thriller Manila left you humble. After Ali beat Foreman, he made a phone call to a DC brother named Darryl Bell. He didn't call ABC, NBC. He didn't call Ed Bradley, didn't call Howard Cosell. He floated like a butterfly, stung like a bee. Ali made me proud to be me. He called Harold Bell in DC. Ali, a global cultural icon. His rope a dope like a time bomb. Rumble, young man, rumble. Beautiful young man, try fun. Rumble, young man, rumble. Beautiful young man, never tumble. Muhammad Ali, Harold Bell, just got here on Kendrick Lamar. Now we're talking about Harold Bell, Harold Bell, just got here on. Now we're talking about Harold Bell, Harold Bell, just got here on. Now we're talking about Harold Bell, Harold Bell. Now we're talking about Harold Bell, real godfather of sports talk, a man that talk and walk that walk. A media community pioneer, shared the same radio mic as Peter Green over the air. His voice came through loud and clear. When the streets of the original Chocolate City were mean, they did not have to scream. Unlike today's radio host, the first black American to host and produce his own sports talk radio show in DC. Oh yeah, his brother was Bad G. The show was christened Inside Sports. The tag given to him by his wife, Hattie T, stolen by the powers to be. His interviews and friendship with Ali and Red Auerbach put his Inside Sports talk show on the map. On his radio show, he interviewed some of the most famous athletes, reverend and reviewed the people and the struggle. His wife, Hattie T, found the kids in trouble.
The producer of that rap, my man, went out of the country, went to London. I didn't know where he'd gone. All of a sudden he comes back and he throws that on me, man. Thank you so much, King. I want to, what a way to kick off a Black History Month. But I've said for years, I celebrate Black History 365 days of the year. So I don't even worry about this short month they give me. I try to enlighten my people every day. I get an opportunity to get behind a microphone or be interviewed. I try to bring people up to date of what's really going on. So today, I got two of my main men here. I got Reggie Walston, a legendary sports talk show host in Richmond, Virginia, who picked me up when they kicked me to the curb. And I was down there years with him, and we had a ball, man. I really enjoyed Reggie and that group, man. So Reggie Howell, thank you for being there. Thank you for being a part of this first kickoff of Black History Month today. And I got my other man. This guy here is a 11-year veteran of the NFL, 2 Super Bowl rings. Played with Jerry Rice and all the other big boys, and a guy that once he got to Washington D.C., we hooked up, and he did several community endeavors with me the 2 years that he was here, and we've been friends ever since. And can we run that little 2-minute piece that I got on there? right. Marc got the receipt. Marc Logan got the receipt right there. Thank you. Thank you. Hit it. Thank you, man. That was the great Marc Logan, and he's a better human being than he was a football player. I got to know he's been there, and that's what it's all about. There's some people kind of lift you up when you're down. Well, Marc Logan has been one of those individuals who has lifted me up. I didn't never know where he was going to show up now, but he was going to show up somewhere.
He was going to be there.
He was going to be there. He was going to be there. Marc, thanks for joining us. And, of course, we got my co-host, my man Shannon Roundtree, better known as Big Doc. He is the producer of everything radio in the DMV, a very talented young man. And I'm very blessed to have him co-host this show for the past 3 months. That's what we're going on 3 months now. And one of the things I want to start out with that 34 years ago, man, I had a buddy in Minnesota, and I had a sports media roundtable. I was the first brother to put together a sports media roundtable where you brought the media folks in to talk about the sports that was going on in their city and across the country. And I was the first one to do that. One of those people that I had on there was Bill Roden before he came out with this book, The $40 Million Slaves. How you would call somebody a $40 million slave when you work in media?
Right.
That is the most racist institution in America, is a media room at press time, man. I couldn't believe people went for that book, $40 Million Slave. And here he's a writer for the New York Times. Now he's sold himself out to ESPN. But everybody is $1 million slave. I don't want to get Marc started on that right away, but I had also on that media roundtable was Larry Fitzgerald out of Minnesota, Larry Fitzgerald Sr. And I don't know how I got hooked up with Larry at that time, but I used to call Larry's house about on Mondays around 8 o'clock or Saturdays, for it to be on the show. And his son would always answer the phone. His son was about 7 or 8 years old. And he would holler, "Hey, Daddy, it's Harold Bell in Washington, D.C. Why you got to yell my name out? Mr. Bell, you are Mr. Bell." And guess what? That same young kid walked on the stage the other night as a first ballot wide receiver for the NFL, went into the Hall of Fame. That 7, 8-year-old kid that used to holler my name like that. And then I finally met him at the Touchdown Club his senior year in college, where they honored the outstanding players. And I was getting ready to interview him when Congressman Walter Fontroy came over and said he was ready for me to interview him. So I chose Fontroy, and I missed out on getting the interview with Larry. But Larry went on to be an outstanding wide receiver, man. He's considered the one of the best to ever play the game. Now, why? Let me tell you why I bring that up, because I called Larry Sr. when Dennis Green was hired 34 years ago to become the second head coach to be hired in the NFL behind Art Shell. It's 34 years ago. They didn't have two black head coaches, and Dennis Green was one of them. Let's play that interview I had with Larry Fitzgerald, Shannon.
The games that people play, it's something that we got to be jumping up and down and clapping and hooraying playing cheerleaders because the NFL has hired a second coach. What has taken them so long that we need to be cheering in 1992 that they were hired their second head coach? Right now, we're going to travel out to Minneapolis, Minnesota, and talk to a young man that you've heard many times here on Inside Sports. He is the sports director at KFAN Radio in Minneapolis. Also, he's a sports writer for the Minneapolis Spokesman and St. Paul Recorder. He's also a correspondent for ESPN, the radio network. Boy, it's so good to watch these young guys grow. I'm telling you, I'm really proud of them. I'd like to welcome to Inside Sports, Mr. Larry Fitzgerald. How you doing, Larry? Very good, Will. How's the weather in Washington? Oh, it's beautiful, Larry. I tell you, it's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I wish it was like this, be like this in Minnesota on Super Bowl day. I would really travel out there, but I see where you guys got snow up to the telephone booth. People can't even get in the telephone booth to make calls, man. Yeah, it's been like that for some time. You know, we've received about 62 inches of snow already this season, and believe me, it's been real tough. You know, but Larry, you guys have to be real, real proud because Minnesota has been so progressive when it comes to hiring blacks in the professional and on the college level. Now they have hired Dennis Green. Tell us about this, because this is amazing, because Minnesota didn't hire its first assistant coach until 1988. That's just 4 years ago, Larry. So I was really surprised that Minnesota was the team to tap Dennis Green. No doubt about it, Harold. It's shocking in many ways. It's almost an about face for the Minnesota Viking organization, which over the years has developed a reputation of being a football organization that bordered literally on racism. I mean, they didn't, as you mentioned, hire their first black coach until 1989. And we're talking about 29 years before they finally made a move in that direction or realized that was something that needed to be done. But Jerry Burns, as head coach, made that step and hired a black assistant coach. And Jerry Brown was the gentleman that was selected in that situation. And his situation right now is in limbo, but Denny Green, now the head coach of the Minnesota Vikings, named the fifth head coach in the Minnesota Vikings history. And it's amazing, Harold, over the last few weeks, the Minnesota Vikings now hiring Denny Green, the second black head coach in the National Football League. And of course, 6 years ago, it was Clem Haskins becoming the first black head basketball coach at the University of Minnesota, and only the second at that time in the Big Ten. And 30 days ago, the University of Minnesota hiring only the second major university black athletic director, and Dr. McKinley Boston. So revolutionary might be the word. Minnesota finally making a move. You know,
Okay, that's the first half of the interview. That was, of course, Larry Fitzgerald. I'm kind of confused from my calculations, and I'm looking around. As we head into the Super Bowl, Mark, heading to the Super Bowl, there's only one black American under contract, and that's the brother in Houston. But somebody keeps telling me that Todd Bowles is still around. Is he still around, or what's happening?
Todd's still around. They saying he's on the bubble. Todd was my teammate with Washington Redskins, and
right.
And I mean, he's hanging on by a thread right now. Like you said, there's only one, and you think of all the positions that were open as head coaches recently, and nobody was hired, which is ridiculous.
Yeah. You know, I found it an insult to injury when the commissioner, NFL commissioner, Roger Goodell, says at the, he does this state of the address going into the Super Bowl, that all the NFL teams was compliant with the Rooney Rule. Why would he say something like that? And no coaches were hired. There were 10 openings. And not one coach was hired, but he get in front of everybody and talking about the NFL Rooney Rule that they met the Rooney Rule compliance. How does come to that conclusion, Mark? Or does he just say he can say anything to people?
I mean, he's delusional when you think of him making that comment. He's not even close. He's not even close to making the Rooney Rule to be what it's supposed to be. But like I've said before, it's just compliance. They say they interviewed somebody, but they have no intentions of hiring anybody.
Right.
So, what's the point of just giving them an interview when you have no intentions of hiring them? You already know who you want to hire. They already have it set. So, they need to change the rule. They really do, to where you actually have to hire ethnicity and people of color, because it's, when you think of the league being 80% black, and you have no leadership at all, even if it's not a head coach, if it's somebody in the head office that's a minority, that helps out too. But they don't even consider that, which is bad.
Reggie, tell us how you feel. I know for a fact you have been on this case for as long as I have, and as long as I've known you, to look around and see, here we are 34 years after they hired Dennis Green as a head coach in Minnesota. We go into the 26th, 27th NFL season, and we got only 2 black coaches, man. Now, Mark said that Todd Bowles is sitting on the bubble, and that bubble is about to burst if things go the way they've been going. How do you feel about that, Reggie?
So Reggie had dropped out. I'm not sure if it's his connection or what may have happened. Okay. But once he popped back in, I'll get him back up. But
okay, we'll get it back. But Mark, you spent 11 years in the league, and you've seen everything. You were there with Joe Montana. You were there with Rice. I mean, the receipts that you had when it comes to the NFL and being able to call it like you see them. Why does people don't realize that the bottom line, man, is black ownership? We don't have not one black owner, man, out of 32 teams. And if you don't have no black owners, how are you going to expect that they're going to think that they're going to hire or bring you in or do the right thing? What makes you think they're going to do the right thing by the Rooney Rule? Why people think that?
They're not. I mean, when you think of Dennis Green and all these guys were actually hired, and they were the best thing since slice of bread. They were winning. They was doing everything. So I don't understand why they really don't want to hire African American coaches. I really don't. And like you said, if they're not going to do right by the Rooney Rule, then all the stipulations of even you being hired is going to be tough, because you always been looked at, to mess up. They're looking for excuses to not hire you. That happens often. When I was surprised, when I went to Washington, when I went to the Redskins, I've been in the league for 11 years at this point. And that's the first time I've seen anybody black in head office.
Wow.
Yeah. And that was, what's the guy's name? The running back that passed away. He played for the
Taylor. The Taylor kid.
No, he got
shot
in head office with the Redskins, but he played running back. Really good older guy, and they wore his number on their jersey. I can't think of his name.
I can't think of who that is either. I should know.
Yeah, but him and at the time they was trying to do something with Doug Williams, but just to see somebody of color in the top office, man, that was rare. 49ers didn't, the Dolphins didn't, but that was the first team out of 11 years to see something like that. Yeah.
See something in front office. Wow. All right, Reggie, we got you back now, Reggie. Of course, we want you to pick up on the going into the 26th, 27th NFL season, that there are only 2, we think, blacks under contract after 34 years of the hiring of Dennis Green, here we are headed into the Super Bowl 26-27, and we have only 2 black coaches under contract. Reggie, how do you feel about that? And how do you feel about no black ownership and the other 32 teams, man? I mean, the NFL has been around for 100 years, so it tells you they're not thinking about doing the right thing, Reggie.
Well, again, good morning, gentlemen. It's an honor and pleasure to be on the show with this distinguished panel. Let's be honest about something. When you have no ownership, you can't call the shots. You have billionaires who are the good old boys club, and they've shown you how they believe. Pakula up there in Buffalo, he had the opportunity to hire, and what did he do? Leslie Frazier had to go be an assistant defensive coach with the Seahawks just to be employed. And see, this little dirty little secret nobody talks about. Remember when Kansas City lost to Kansas City, came back in 13 seconds and beat Buffalo? Mm-hmm. Well, the thing was, the so-called ex-head coach decided in the last 30 seconds he wanted to call the defense. He told Leslie Frazier to stand down. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Nobody talks about that. And what happened was, the rest is history. We have seen a plethora of young black coaches being mistreated. When you have people shouting at the Pittsburgh game saying, fire Mike Tomlin, and then you have a police chief call him the N-word, that shows you the mentality of this country. And that's why, again, shout out to Bad Bundy and Kaepernick for being strong black men to stand up against the system, because the system will crush you by any means necessary. And I got to say, Mr. Bell, your Winston-Salem brethren, Stephen A. Smith, is playing a very dangerous game. He's trying to walk 2 sides of the fence, and it's not working. Yes, you donate money to HBCUs. Yes, you highlight HBCUs. But when you go after Representative Crockett in the manner that you did, and then had misleading information, then you talk about I'm friends with Sean Handy and Marc Logan. That tell you all you need to know about what direction he's trying to get to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Joy Reid. Yes. Joy Reid said.
Yeah, Mr. Logan.
Yours.
Go ahead, Shannon. Shannon.
No, I think you were talking about Bobby Mitchell.
Oh, yes, Bobby Mitchell.
Yeah, right. I forget Bobby Mitchell.
Yeah. Yeah, Bobby, he's a good guy. Yeah.
But then what they did though, they just treated Bobby, man. And I mean they treated Bobby Mitchell bad, man. They really did. He didn't have no power. He didn't have no power. It was just really a token, because they didn't give him any power. He didn't make any decisions. That's right.
I think he was there really as a mentor to us, to be honest with you, Mm-hmm. And, if we had problems, we could always go and talk to Bobby. And he was like the mediator between us and management. So, but Bobby, he was the first guy I've seen up in the head office in 11 years of playing. You can't make this stuff up. You really can't.
Yeah. Shannon, thank you for reminding us about Bobby Mitchell. I don't know how either one of us got Bobby Mitchell. But Bobby, man, really, they really dogged it, man. I mean, if you were having something off, like you do, putting on a little banquet or something, they had Bobby go order the food and that type of thing, man. And that was ridiculous, man. Here's a man, a Hall of Fame, a great running back, one of Jim Brown's best friends, and Bobby got caught up, man, and he left out of there crying, man. They embarrassed him so much. He left out of there crying, man. But that's the way it goes, man. And it's a shame that people will find brothers and sisters talking about they are minority owners. Just like Mark said, minority owners, do you make any decisions? Do you make any? You know what they had James Brown doing on CBS as a minority owner until I got on his case? Had him carrying out the lineup. Line up to the umpire, man. That was it. That was his minority duties. And he would not say that he was a minority until I got on his case and he finally said it on the George Michael show. Man, I don't make no decision. But then you come back and tell that lie all over again. You can't keep telling them lies. Magic Johnson is the same way, man. They don't do nothing but use us, man, and put you in a position, you know. So we
Hey, Mr. Bell, can you give your honest opinion about the late Sonny Jurgensen? I know you're going to tell like it is. give me your honest opinion about the late Sonny Jurgensen.
I'll tell you. Well, I'm gonna tell you what. You know, I was very close to Roy Jefferson and Charlie Taylor and Larry Brown and Harold McClendon. That was my crew. And the final thing, they all said Sonny Jurgensen was the most purest passer to ever play in the National Football League. But he's also, you know, you couldn't trust him. You know, if when it comes to black and white, he was shy away from that, and that was how he was, man. Sonny was, he sat on a pedestal, man. He was not somebody that you could trust, and they didn't trust. Roy had more faith in Billy Kilmer, you know. Even though, let me tell you one thing too. If Sonny Jurgensen had been healthy for that 1971-72 Super Bowl with Miami, that winning streak that Miami has would have never been existent. You understand? Because Roy and Charlie were downfield, man, waving their hands, trying to get Billy to get the ball to him. Sonny would have picked Miami apart, man. And they had the best receivers in the league. Roy Jefferson, Charlie Taylor, and Jerry Smith. Come on, man. He would have killed them. But you know, the thing on Sonny is that he was one of the greatest purest passers ever played. And what happened, he got in the doghouse with George Allen because George had no control over him. So when Sonny got hurt, he put Billy Kilmer in there and left Billy in charge, even when Sonny got healthy, man, you know. But they had so much talent on that team, man, that if that man had lived, if Sonny had been healthy, man, for that Miami game, man, it wouldn't be no undefeated streak, man. But yeah. He was he's dead at 91, man, but he was, you know, people thought him as a big hero here in Washington, D.C. And I can't say I didn't spend that much time with Sonny. I spent more time with Billy Kilman, Sam Huff, and them, but not with Sonny. Sonny was not available. Anything. So now here we are going into Super Bowl tomorrow, and people got Bad Bunny is getting more attention than the players. Bad Bunny is getting more attention than the players, and then why is that, man? Because Bad Bunny said at the what was that, the Grammys? It was no ice. So now they don't know what he's gonna say when he gets on stage, you know, during the Super Bowl. But and then what adds insult to injury is that our president, you know, he was at, I don't know if he was at the last Super Bowl or what, but he's been going to the Super Bowl. I don't think he's gonna show up for this one. But he just came out with calling our president Obama and the First Lady. He had pictures of them on his link, social media link, as apes, man, as apes. They had the head in ape suit, man. Would you believe that a president of the United States, man, would fall that low? How low can you get, man?
January 6th, tell you all you need to know.
Ain't that something, man? I was lucky to hear. I got up in time and I turned to CNN, and Victor Blackwell, man, he was laying it out, man. He laid it out, man. He said, what more do we need, or what more does he need to do for understand who he really is? You know, there's an old saying, when someone show you who they really are, believe them.
Yeah.
Believe them. And well, what do y'all think about this guy who's been in this corner all the way? He comes out Scott, the only on the Senate side. He comes out and says, "This is the worst racism that I've seen come out of this White House, man."
Yeah.
Now, that doesn't tell you something.
Wait a minute. Did you say Scott from South Carolina said that?
That's right. That's what he said. He said,
he had an epiphany. He woke up and just now figuring that out.
Right. He just figured it out.
That makes me
He just
laugh
figured out
when
his own skin color.
that made me laugh when Sean Thurman went and tried to hug Rosa Parks. I said, "Oh, this is the new Black History movement, huh?"
Yeah.
Never forgot that. That's when Trent Locke said, "The things that worked out like it should have, this country wouldn't be like it is." And Armstrong Williams came out and said, "That's racist." And I'm like,
Oh, Armstrong Williams. Don't bring up Armstrong Williams.
your buddy, Mr. Bill, Armstrong
Uh
Williams."
oh.
Man.
Now.
Yeah, man. Him and Stephen A. Smith, man, they two of a kind. Those guys are two of a kind. And
Yeah.
I want to run the second half of that interview with Larry Fitzgerald in Minnesota when Dennis Green was named the first Black coach of the Minnesota Vikings. Can we run that second half for Shannon?
Bill Walsh when we started rebuilding. It's been taken, and this is supposedly the land of opportunity, the land of the free. And I was listening to many of the media yesterday during the press conference, and I'll share some of the comments from the president of the Minnesota Vikings, Roger Goodell, who has had the inevitable task of trying to erase one of the worst trades probably in the history of the National Football League when the Vikings traded for Herschel Walker and gave up 7 players and 5 draft picks. And 5 of those were number ones. So Minnesota hasn't had a number 1 draft pick now for 3 years, and that'll continue into this year. But Roger Hedrick has had to live with the fact that although Mike Lynn is still a part of this organization, that Mike Lynn is running the organization behind the scenes. But with this hiring of Dennis Green, I think he has taken Mike Lynn off of his back in the eyes of those who thought that Roger Hedrick wasn't running this organization. It's certainly a big, bold step. Mm-hmm. Larry, I understand you have some comments from Dennis Green, the president of the Minnesota Vikings. I'd like to hear what they had to say. Okay, Roger Hedrick introduced Minnesota's 5th head coach to the nation yesterday.
Well, let me lead off. I don't think gentleman on my right needs any introduction, but I'd like to introduce to you and tell you how pleased I am to introduce the next head coach of the Minnesota Vikings, Denny Green. It's been a great experience getting to know Denny. He's been on the top of my list throughout the search, and he's the kind of individual, a winner, a leader, a builder, a very bright, technical, and operational football head coach, and an individual that I think can bring a winning organization to the Minnesota Vikings. And I'm extremely pleased and very happy to have Denny on our Minnesota Vikings team. I look forward to a very long association. We signed a 4-year contract with a 1-year extension this afternoon, and I hope that's just the beginning of a very long and successful association with the Vikings. With that, I'd like to turn it over to Denny for a few comments, and then we'll open it up to your questions.
Well, Denny, I'm very happy to be here. I think as soon as the plane touched down, I felt like I was definitely on Viking soil, and I'm excited about it. National Football League is something I've always dreamed about. As you know, I've worked in the National Football League for 4 years as an assistant coach. 1979 went with Bill Walsh when we started the rebuilding task at the San Francisco 49ers, and then back in 1986 to 1988. I've always admired the Minnesota Vikings as a guy that went to school at the University of Iowa back in the 60s. The Vikings had some great teams. I'm the type of guy that believes in great tradition, that believes in everybody pulling in the same direction, and the guy that believes really in hard work and dedication. I think that's probably been the trademark of my coaching career. I worked at all levels, and I think that's what's also very exciting. From the first time at the University of Dayton as a 23-year-old coach, when I coached quarterbacks, running back, receivers, and tight ends, and had to learn what responsibility and coaching is all about, to also being the head coach at Stanford University. I love Stanford. It was a great experience for me. We had some great seasons, some great players. But right now, I'm extremely excited to be the head coach of the Minnesota Vikings. Look forward to playing some fantastic football. I know we have some tremendous talent on this football team. We've had some great years in the 80s, and we're looking forward to having some championship years in the 90s. The thing that I want to do is bring some good, strong leadership, cooperation. It's something I believe in. I think a tremendous amount of understanding is something I believe in also. But the thing I think maybe I understand maybe the most is the reason I have consistent expectations, and that maybe be my trademark. The idea of being able to consistently expect the same thing from everybody involved. I'm happy to be here, and I'm ready to answer any questions at this time.
Great interview, Larry. That was a great piece. That was, of course, from the president of the Minnesota Vikings and naming his new head coach, Dennis Green, as the second black head coach in National Football League history. And that's, Larry, I'd like to thank you for taking time out to bring us that report and keep on doing the great things.
Okay. Mark, did you ever get a chance to break bread with Dennis Green during your tenure in the NFL?
Yeah, we met a couple times. He actually coached a teammate of mine from high school, Cornell Burbage, went to the Vikings when he was there, and that's how I ended up getting the meeting. But just a powerful guy, man. His presence, everything, you know.
That's right.
He brings more than just coaching to the team. His presence was really important. And, you know, when you look back at when he got that position, you know, if you do things statistically, black coaches have a higher rate of winning success than any coaches.
Mm-hmm.
At that time, I think Tony Dungy was a head coach as well, and they was killing the league. I mean, they was coaching their butts off, and they let both of them go. So you just don't understand. You can't make this stuff up. You know, you really can't, because even that rule, the Rooney Rule, it doesn't just include coaches. You know, it's women of color as well. You know, to hire maybe up in the head office or wherever it may be, but they're failing us horribly. You know, by not you know, having this type of situation, knowing that they're already going to hire somebody else. So I don't understand why we keep having these interviews just for compliance purposes. But Dennis Green he's a heck of a coach. I mean, he put his all into coaching. He really did. You could tell, you know, and he stands for a lot of people, you know, that look like us, you know, because when we get those kind of positions, we don't want to fail. So, you know, we're going to do our best. You know, we're going to stay up at night and, you know, and put everything that we have into, and it shows, you know, he was winning. And we have a higher winning statistical, you know, our winning rate than our counterparts.
Yeah. You know, I asked you that because Dennis always made himself available to me, man. I had a couple of great interviews with him, and when he was a head coach, you know, he was that guy, kind of standoffish guy. Because one of my guys played for him too. Joe Howard went up there, went to play with Dennis Green, and Joe found him to be a, you know, very honest and upfront guy. You know, it wasn't gonna give you no BS. He gonna call you out and tell it just like it is, man. So yeah, he was a great guy. Man.
Players love him. You know, he's a players coach. The players love him. You know, my brother played at Marshall University with Carl Lee. Carl Lee played defensive back for the Vikings when he was there, and man, all those guys talk about is that guy, man. You know, he brings more to the team than just coaching. Makes a lot of difference.
Right. Reggie, who do we have for the winners tomorrow coming out of? Can you break that down between the Seattle Seahawks and New England Patriots? Who you got, Reggie?
So can you hear me, Mr. Bell?
I hear you. Yeah, go ahead. You in and out.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Go ahead, Reggie.
Okay, I got to go with Seattle. Number one, Leslie Frazier, the way he been mistreated as far as being coach. He should be in the next black coach of Buffalo Bills, but Bagula and his staff, that's a whole nother 2 hour show. But I'm really looking
Yeah.
forward because the way the quarterback was mistreated for the Seahawks, and you just have a defense that's just nasty. Anytime you have a defense that can put heart and fear into receivers, they like the old Legion of Boom. They're gonna be talking junk. The players gonna be going crazy, but they're gonna bring that fear in you. And your guest knows about if you have a wild defense, like a pack of wild dogs, like LT once said, it can turn fear real quick. And we got two young men from Richmond, Virginia, playing for New England. The running back from Ohio State, Henderson. He is from Richmond, and also Big Mo, the offensive lineman that went to UVA. Mike London gave him a hardship scholarship, and the young man's been playing pro ball for almost 14 years. So we have a black coach like Mike London, who used to be with Howard University,
Right.
championship, University of Richmond. The only black coach University of Richmond to win that championship, and they still disrespect him. They don't even like that William Murray quietly kept, but that's another 2 hour show too. I'll tell you about that off there, Mr. Bell.
Yeah. Shannon, hey Shannon, who do you like, Shannon, coming up on Sunday, Shannon?
I'm with you on the same thing. So I'm with Seahawks. I'm going with the Seahawks.
Okay. All right. Now come to Mark. Mark, who you like?
Seahawks all the way, man. Their defense is a beast.
And you know, everybody says defense wins Super Bowls, man. Yeah. Well, a game like this, man, like I said, I just want to see a good football game. I really don't care who wins, but I want to see a real good football game. I hope there's no blowout. But everybody seems to be unanimous when it comes to the Seattle Seahawks and that defense, man. Evidently, they've had a great season, and people think that's going to carry on over. And one other thing I want, while we're talking about the NFL, I don't know what happened, man, with that Bill Belichick thing. Mark, you got any insight on that? Why they denied this man a first ballot to be a first ballot Hall of Famer in the NFL? Have you heard anything on that? Mark, can you hear me, Mark? Can you hear me, Mark?
I can't hear you.
You can't hear me. Reggie, can you pick that up?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Reggie, what happened with Belichick?
I think that a lot of jealous reporters who he didn't give interviews to stay in office, they admit that they was going to go ahead and mistreat him. But what makes me upset, when Terrell Owens was disrespected by Skip Bayless, calling him Team Obliviary, where was the outcry and shout for then? You know, Terrell Owens should have been the first ballot. We got people like L.C. Greenwood. You still got on the veteran community where Pittsburgh Steelers should be in the Super Bowl, but so many got elected earlier in the Super Bowl. And also the Hall of Fame said, we're going to punish these guys because we got too many Pittsburgh Steelers, too many HBCU players in the Hall of Fame, and we got to stop this. So it's ridiculous. And for them to not even know who the voters are is shameful. They need to put their names out there and need to say, hey, this is why I did it, and stand on it.
Yeah.
I want to Mark, before you say, I want to introduce you to one of Mark's friends that definitely should be in the NFL Hall of Fame, man. No doubt. He should have been in there before he retired from the NFL. Shannon, do we have that piece on Billy White Shoes Johnson? Do you have that? I want y'all to see this piece I found on Billy White Shoes Johnson if Shannon can bring that up.
Billy White Shoes Johnson. He was the first of the great men in the NFL.
He was the first returner to develop a strong identity.
Nobody had seen anything like him. Nobody knew who Billy was, but it didn't take him long to hit.
He was a little small guy. He was about 5'9". You couldn't catch him.
That's the way he described it. He was trying to catch a hummingbird. He didn't just get the ball and go. He moved. He'd reverse his field. He'd come back.
If he goes to the right, don't chase him, because he'll be coming back.
Somebody said he could stop on a dime change.
Had that juke, if you will, that the first guy missed, and then he was off to the races. You were just chasing his shadows.
When he'd get his hands on the ball on the punt, everybody end up. He never hesitated. On his first step, he's going full speed.
Billy White Shoes, more of a showman.
I remember Billy White Shoes as one of the first guys that kind of celebrated after he scored.
Billy White Shoes Johnson, the funky chicken.
Greatest celebratory dance in the history of the NFL, without a doubt.
Unbelievable showmanship.
People remember the dance, but he was a really good football player.
And my Shoes Johnson is the greatest return man
in the history of the NFL.
ever.
That's right. The greatest return man in the history. Yeah. Mark, tell us about your friend Billy White Shoes Johnson.
Yeah, he's awesome, bro. I told him, man, he's the reason why I play football.
Yeah.
Doing that fucking chicken and going down to the splits, man. I mean, he had to be the first guy that really celebrated,
Yeah.
Then everybody started making up their own celebration, but he was the celebration to me, And Billy, he's a terrific guy, great player, great return guy, and great person. Probably a better person than he is a player, and he's a great player.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to having him on the show when his busy schedule allows. The only reason he's not here because he had a workout plan for this morning.
Yeah,
he will be joining us, down the line.
Right.
But as I look around for doing Black History Month, man, and when do we really come together as a people, man? Because we are so divided, and that's how they take advantage of us, because they know we are not going to stick together, man. They know all they got to do is give us $2 and a little fame, and we go off in a different direction, man. But I tell you, this is as bad as I've seen it in my 8 decades, man, being a Black man in America. It's bad out there. It's not only bad coming from the White House, but it's bad coming from these frauds who are supporting this administration, man. How can you support somebody that's destroying your people? It's no doubt, like Victor Blackwell said, man. What does he need to do to prove who he really is? And
I've always said that, I can take a whole lot of things, but racism ain't one of them. I don't even tolerate it. But like you said, we have to come together, and every time that we do come together, you got somebody that they done paid a ton of money to, like a Stephen A. He says all the things that they want him to say about Black people. He can tear us down and act like he's getting away with it. And that's really bad. You always got this one guy or two people that that's on the other side of Black people, and they tear us down. They start all these rumors that things that aren't true, and that pulls us back apart. And it's just crazy that because we have the power, we really do. And that's what people are afraid of Black people getting together and having that kind of power. Back in in the 50s and the 60s, and we stuck together because that's all we had was each other.
And man, Mark, that's why when I was in position, man, I was making more money on AM gospel radio than TV personalities, man. You understand? On AM radio, I didn't have to go through no Nielsen ratings. Jim Brown got me Coca-Cola. Right. Senator Decatur Trotter got me the Maryland State Lottery. Sonny Hill got me hooked up with Nike. And I don't know how I got hooked up with Budweiser, but those are 4 major sponsors, man. I had so much money coming in, man. I didn't know what to do with it. The hustlers was lining up outside of WST radio the first of the month to borrow money.
Wow.
we stuck together back then, though. You know what I'm saying? If it's just like Muhammad Ali, man. He gave you that interview. If we want to tell our stories, we have to stick together. We really do. That's the only way those stories are going to get out.
Because
the right way.
Because what they do, they gang up on us, man. Like, when my attorney Derek Humphreys told me the night that we met at WOK Radio for my debut show in 1972, he said, Harold, trademark this name, copyrighted, Inside Sportsman is gonna be off the hook. He told me, but I'm ego tripping. Wow. I'm on the air, man. I ain't got no time for that stuff. 8 years later, I'm in the studio with Michael Wilbon, George Solomon of the Washington Post, David Aldridge. I got them on my show. And you know what happened? The Washington Post took Inside Sports up to New York City and started Inside Sports Magazine. Didn't even say nothing to me. No respect. Wow. And I knew the owner. Man. I remember when he was a cop on the beach his rookie year out of college until his mother said, come on in here. You don't want you to be here to fight the Post. Donald Graham, I broke bread. Well, we broke hamburgers at the little tavern, man, when he was on the beach. So he knew who I was. So when they took it Inside Sports, they knew exactly what they were doing, man. They don't care. Yeah. When it comes to a dollar bill, they don't care. Yeah. He took Inside Sports to New York City, didn't last for 2 or 3 years because they ran him out of there because he didn't know how to transfer my talk show into print. Tony Kornheiser was a part of that crew that went up there, staff that went up there with them, man.
Wow.
So, wow. It makes me wonder when I think of my teammate Deion Sanders, that did he patent that, prime time? Because that's him.
Yeah, for
you know what I'm saying? That's what he called himself was prime time. When he came in with the Falcons, all you heard was prime time. And then all of a sudden, sports was called prime time. Yes. It makes me wonder if he had patented that, man, because they definitely took that away.
Still the best ideas. And when I think about, how even though the Washington Post failed with Inside Sports Magazine, what happened? Somebody else was watching them and said, "Hey, why don't we do a TV format?" And that's how ESPN came in. ESPN followed the Washington Post and came up with an ESPN, which is now, of course, a billion-dollar industry. Sports talk is, But what happens? You get the guys like James Brown that came through Harold Bell, Kathy Hughes who came through Harold Bell, David Aldridge who did look out for me. I had to go beg these guys for rent, man. When they ran me off the air, I had to go borrow. I had to get $1,000 from James Brown, $1,000 from David Aldridge. I think David Aldridge gave me $2,000 because I went back to bed. And then Wilbon gave me $1,000. Why did I used to have to do that? When these guys became millionaires, I had them when they were nobody, man. And I got to chase them down to get $1,000 for rent, man. Well, that was very humbling, man.
I'm sure.
I don't know who did come through you, Harold. You really, really, man. You the GOAT, man.
Pipeline.
You know everybody, and the pipeline. That's right. I couldn't tell you who did.
I've been very blessed, man. I really have, man. And they allowed me to be myself. Jim Brown, man, he could, Jim Brown was a tough dude to deal with, man. But I didn't kiss up to him. I think that's what it was. I didn't kiss up to him. I remember one time we got in an argument on the phone, Mark. He was calling me all these kind of names. I'm hollering back at him. And when I got off the phone, I said, I'm glad that was on the phone.
I know that's right.
It sounded like he would have come through the phone for me, man,
Right. Hey, but he had to love you for the respect, though. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah, it was totally.
Stand your ground, bro.
Just, too bad that, like I said, I'm on the way out, not on the way in. But, man, I am blessed because of some good people. Got a good wife, man, and I got people like Mark and Muhammad Ali, Red Allback, Bert Sugar. Man, they had my back, man.
Yeah, good people.
Big name.
They had my back.
Yeah.
Reggie, you know they had my back because you had them on the show and everything. I was
Jim Brown said, "That's my man, Harold Bell." I got him to say it on the show. I got him to say it.
I don't know why he ain't leave me a piece of that $50 million he got.
I know that's right.
But man, hey, man. You know,
he got paid, didn't he?
Yeah, we gotta make the best of where we are. And we got to support each other, man. I get these emails from these politicians asking me to donate $5. Man, you crazy? Donate $5 for what?
Right.
Man,
For what?
but if I ask them to be on the show, they don't respond. You understand?
Right.
So what makes you think I'm a supporter? You know, we got the pimps in the pulpit. We got the politicians on the hill, man.
Yes, sir.
And all of them are doing the same thing. All of them are up there for $1 bill, man. Bird, few, and in between, man. That's they want to get paid.
Yeah.
Some of them are on. How can a guy be in a politician for 40 years, man? 40 years. Only one that I know.
Yeah, Marty Taylor Green going that broke.
Man, as far as I'm concerned, was Skinny Hoyer, man. He's getting ready to retire, and I hate to see him retire, man, because that's over here in my district. The Skinny Hoyer is retiring after 40 years. Why should he stay there and take this stuff off of Donald Trump for 3 more years, man? So I understand why he's getting out of there, man.
Yeah.
But
40 years is a long time. That should be a
term limits.
Term limits, man.
No doubt. Because you look at the dude in Kentucky. What's his name? The senator.
Ron Paul.
No, not Ron Paul.
He talking about O'Connell, isn't it?
Yeah, O'Connell. I mean,
what's his name?
What is his name?
Connell. I know it's some Connell.
The one is always falling and.
Yeah, he's falling. Yeah,
lost. Don't even know what he said. I mean, how can you?
Yeah.
He just there for that check, man.
Oh, that's not Trent Locke. Is it Trent Locke?
No, no, it's not Trent Locke. It's O'Connell. What the? Hattie? No, I ain't gonna call Hattie.
What is his name?
But yeah, I know exactly who you're talking. He's still around.
He's still around. And I mean, he can't even talk. But he's just right now, he's a gatekeeper. He's holding that spot for the Republicans. They even came up with a law that's saying that when he retires,
Mitch O'Connell,
yeah.
Mitch O'Connell, Ma.
Yeah.
Mitch O'Connell.
I can't never know his name. But he set a rule that when he leaves that spot, it has to be replaced by another Republican.
McConnell.
Okay.
Mitch McConnell.
Mitch McConnell, Mitch McConnell. That's him, Ma. Because he's one that had those dizzy blackouts and everything right there. The mic, right? Yeah, that's Mitch McConnell. That's who he is.
But they gatekeepers, man. You know, they stay there and replace, that same position with another Republican. How do you make that rule when it's never been that way? You got to vote for that position. You know what I'm saying? You can't replace that position with another Republican just because the prior guy was a Republican. You have to vote on that. But they making rules that to stay in power. That's what it's about. Yeah.
Shoot, Trump had this way wouldn't be voting no more. He said, "Y'all won't vote no more after this election." Don't think he ain't thinking that.
Yeah, I think they should let those seats be governed by the median age of the country, because I think it relates more to the people. But you could still have an older leader, but I think whatever the median age is, progression in the time, you know what I mean? Because when you got people who have old ways and old thoughts, it kind of blocks the new from kind of coming in and helping make those changes and adjustments to fit the current lifestyle that we live in, and understanding everything rather than just getting advice from advisors. You know what I mean? They can understand it at this point in time, but still have the older leadership, to guide us through, the processes and things like that. But Yeah, 40 years in a seat. Like
Yeah,
40 years ago, it's way different to what it is right now. You
definitely.
know? So time is moving so much faster that the adaptation to, current life, I feel is more relatable to people within the same age group of, the working class, that area.
Mhm. Well, Reggie, you got the last word, then Mark, and then we're going to get out of here, man. I want to thank you guys for taking time out to be here on, of course, the legacy of Inside Sports Network and keeping hope alive. That's what we got to do, man. We're going to keep hope. We got to find some way to protect our children, man, because right now they have no future, man.
Yeah.
Mark?
I agree. We just got to keep teaching them, making sure they're learning everything and not naive about certain things. And that's, power is, we have the power, power is in our hand. We just have to do something with it and continue to stay together and not have these people like Stephen A. and what's that other reporter's name? I can't think of his name. But
there's so many frauds out there, man.
a few out there now.
There's so many frauds out there.
They're a bad apple, man, and they just make it bad for everybody.
Oh, Jason Whitlock.
Oh, there you go.
The hamburger. Jason Whitlock.
There you go, man.
I come to show
man. He's a joke, bro. I mean, just amazing, man. I can't believe I let him interview me a couple of times.
You need to get your black card taken from you for doing that.
Okay, Reggie, you got the last word, Reggie. Go ahead.
Stay warm. It's 26 degrees. Lord have mercy.
Yeah,
stay warm.
Everybody be safe, man. Everybody be safe, man. I just want to say, man, that hey, man, we got to understand, man, that a lie will change 1,000 times, but the truth never changes, man. And that's what we got to make our people understand, man. They are scared of the truth. They always want to hear the truth as long as it's about somebody else. They don't want to hear the truth about themselves, man. And that's how we go. That's how we go in the wrong direction, man. I don't understand a brother not being able to call another brother on the phone and say, "Hey, man, I got a problem with what you said or what you did. Hey, let's talk about it. Don't run and hide with a little money and a little fame that you got, man. You're gonna have to come back this way one time or another, man." So, hey, man, thanks again for you guys, and thanks, Shannon. As we go out of here, I just want to say, man, peace and love, man. I'm gone. Shannon, take it out.
Incorporated in the Hillcrest Saturday program in 1968. Shortly after the D.C. riots, this idea was great and still is to this very day. Invited by Nixon to come to the White House. His own people showed the jealousy. So what? Lights out. That great man's name is Harold Bell. He knew Jim Brown and Muhammad Ali up close and personal. When it comes to this brother, there is no comparing. He also knew brother Gil Scott-Heron. If Harold Bell had played the game, he would have been a millionaire. We would have been calling Howard Cosell the White Harold Bell. Muhammad Ali, Harold Bell, Gil Scott-Heron, Kendrick Lamar, Muhammad Ali, Harold Bell, Kendrick Lamar, Gil Scott-Heron, Kendrick Lamar, the revolution will not be on your telly. 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 The revolution, when it happens, will start in your mind. No doubt we'll be able to see it or make recordings of it of any kind. He told you the truth while the gov was telling you lies. From the mind of Gil Scott-Heron, the revolution will not be